Welcome back to Danger Talk. I am Jeff Dye, and fresh off his super long flight from Miami, the man, the myth, the legend, the reason you're on this podcast, the reason you're listening, Big R3, Russell Wilson. What's up, my man? Russ, you guys are 4-0. 4-0,
Boys are
baby.
4-0, baby. Nothing better. 4-0. So we got, it was hot, bro. I'm talking about going to Miami and playing out there. We've been up in the Pacific Northwest, cool weather, relax, and everything else. And so, we had to go all the way out to Miami. First of all, people are not wearing their mask up there. They're out there walking around. People at the games, no mask. I'm like looking at the stands during a timeout. And I'm like, I normally don't look at the stands, but I realized it's like, I saw these people standing next to each other with no mask. And I'm like,
Ugh.
that's why this COVID thing's still going on. So anyways, but it was fun. Obviously getting a huge win. It was a great game back and forth, and our defense played great. Offensively we did really, really good and made some special plays when we needed to, and that was great. So, but yeah, man. So it's been a cool start so far for us.
Definitely, they got a mask up. This stat comes from us courtesy of Hawk Badger. You had your first ever win in the state of Florida. That's true?
Well, first NFL win. Yeah, I haven't gone to Florida that much. We went to Miami the first year. We lost that game, close game, and then we played Tampa. We lost that game. I'm trying to think. We also lost to Jacksonville when Jacksonville was really, really pretty good a few years ago. Close game. So that was a huge win. Big.
That's big. I had no idea.
Now we got I dressed up as Miami Vice. I had the blue and the white pants. Good man brand pants. I was ready to roll. So I felt good going into the game, and sure enough, we came out with a huge win.
And speaking of the masks and all the COVID stuff, had some positive tests. Titans, Saints, Patriots. What's the Seahawks doing? To keep everyone safe, the organization. What has been your role in that, or have you had a big role in that?
Well, I think, first of all, what's going on in the NFL, we got to be really extra careful because people's lives are on the line. Obviously, we have some older coaches in the league, and we also have, guys who, have to be super careful because of their size and everything else. And, you got to be just really careful. And then, also guys have asthma. I even have asthma myself. Exercise-induced asthma. So you have to be careful, what you're around, how you surround yourself. So I think it's just super important that we're extra careful. I know for us in the Seahawks, I know our head of health and wellness, Sam Ramsden, has done a great job of the setup and making sure our players are staying extra careful. We space out like crazy. I think that, the reality is that in football, obviously when we're practicing and playing against each other, we got to be close. But in those moments in between, that's where you create the most space, and that's where you create the most opportunity to be free of COVID. And I think it's a really, really serious thing that we all have to take on. What's interesting though, is we talked about, last week talked about, CP3, Chris Paul, about the NBA bubble and the differences between NFL and NBA. But it's hard for us to do a bubble because we have so many people, and we can't play consecutive games in consecutive days. We have to, they played however many games in, 60, 80, 90 days or whatever. Well, for us, we can only play one game a week. Otherwise, we'll be physically torn up. So
sure,
I think, in the QB room, we're staying super spaced away from each other. And that's just been being super responsible, wearing a mask, washing our hands every time.
That's why you've been airing it out so much. You've just been throwing it out to try to keep that distance.
Exactly.
Well, you guys got a big win. Another win. We've talked about so much about DK and Tyler, but how about David Moore? I mean, he's had some pretty big acrobatic catches this season. What gives you confidence to throw those jump balls to him?
Well, he's just such an amazing athlete, so focused. He's been dialed in all year, which has been a really special thing to see. And just obviously, guys like DK and Tyler, we always talk about those guys, but David Moore has been really special for us. So it's been a great year, and everybody's been making plays, and I think that's important. Honestly, we talk about this. We talk about how important it is to stay safe during COVID, because that's the advantage.
Sure.
If we can have all of our star players making plays and doing their part, and staying away from this whole COVID thing, it's imperative. Because obviously you watch the Kansas City game, and Kansas City versus the Patriots, and you watch that game, and it's like, really Kansas City didn't play good, and the Patriots really should have won that game. They had several opportunities to get a few turnovers and do a couple things, and then and then also obviously not having their star and Cam Newton out there makes a major difference, and it definitely showed. And they could have won that game. They should have won that game, really, to be honest with you. So, it's important that we stay healthy. And obviously, I'm praying that Cam gets back to healthy and everything else. But our guys are making plays, and we got so many star players, like you mentioned, David Moore making that great catch in the back corner of the end zone, the little juke move he had. He's been doing some great things for us.
Yeah, it's easy to beat Cam Newton when he's at his house.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.